Hey guys, Brent Abernathy. Welcome to the Family First Life Gulf Coast New Agent Training Call on Thursday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day so far. Going to do question and answer today. Thank you to those of you guys that are submitting your questions. I promise you, if you have questions, there's other people out there that are new agents going through the same things that you're going through and have the same questions. So we really appreciate you guys clicking on the link, on the emails that come out from the Gulf Coast office, the new agent emails and the Gulf Coast Weekly that comes out every Sunday. There's a link on there. If you have questions, please submit them. So we know how to help you, get the skill set that you feel like you need, the struggles you have, the questions you have answered. So I appreciate you guys that are doing that. It gives us content to be able to do calls like this. So I'm going to get right to it. Got 5 or 6 questions that we've seen really over the last 2 or 3 weeks. A lot of different people have submitted questions like this. So the first one says, I'm having a hard time booking more than 3 to 4 appointments in a day. What sort of advice can you give me to get to that next level of booking appointments? So it's very simple. It's one of 3 things. Okay. If you're sitting down for a dial day and you're only booking 3 or 4 appointments for a run day, it's one of 3 things. Either one, you're not getting enough leads, okay, to book a full day worth of 8 appointments. That's what I consider to be a full day. 8 appointments in a day. So you're not getting enough leads. Okay. The second thing would be your skill set's not good on the phone, which it is what it is. You're brand new. It's going to take time. It's going to take repetition to get as good as, say, a Hall of Fame producer is on the phone. Okay. So if that's the case, if your skill set's not good, then you need to be working on it. You need to be talking to a top tier producer or whoever brought you in business, whoever it might be, whoever helps you in this business. You need to be going over your phone script with them and working on it constantly and getting really, really good at it. So those are 2 things. But the third thing is what it is a lot of times with new agents, and it was this way with me. I see this all the time, is look at what your schedule is like on your dial day. Look at how much you're truly dialing on a dial day. Are you sitting down and hitting send for the first time on that phone at 8:00 in the morning and dialing straight until you get your 8 appointments? Or is it more like you kind of roll in, sit down at 8:00, get all your leads in order? You're looking at the ages of the people, the amount of the mortgages, you're organizing your leads. So now you start dialing at like 9 and you dial for like 45 minutes. And then, you go take another couple of phone calls or you go run a quick errand and then you come back and you sit down at 11. Like if your dial day is broken up like that, where you're not truly just sitting down and hitting send and dial and send and dial and send. I bet if you add up the amount of time that you're actually spending dialing on those days, it's less than 3 hours. And so we can't expect to get, a full result, of a full day, a result of a full day, if your dial day looks like that. Okay. So assess yourself, assess your situation, your own personal situation. But I promise you, it's one of those 3 things that you're having an issue with. So next question is, how do you deal with rejections on the phone and in the home? I get it. When I was new, it's never easy to hear the word no, or it's never easy to have somebody hang up on you. It's never fun or whatever. I understand that. But I also know that it is part of our business. We're just sifting through the no's to find the yeses, right? And on the phone, this is the way I handle it, is I used to get frustrated when I would get hung up on or not book an appointment or something like that. I get frustrated. What I did was, instead of saying, hey, I need to book 16 appointments for the next 2 days, I would say, hey, I need to get 75 no's, okay, for today's dial day. So now when somebody hangs up on me, that's a hash mark. That's a good thing, right? Now I'm closer to my 75 no's. And it changes the way you perceive it, the way you look at it, the way your mind works with it. And it'll trick you into, now it turns the no's into good things instead of bad things. So that would be my tip on the telephone, is how to handle it is change it. Instead of, hey, I need to book 16 appointments, say I need to get 75 no's, and dial until you get 75 no's. That'll help you in that regard. In the home, if you're getting rejections, if you're getting no's a lot of times in the home, the way you handle that is again, you get with a Hall of Fame producer, you get with your mentor, you get with somebody who knows the business better than you do, and break down what's happening inside the home. Because look, you're not going to close them all. Nobody is. And if anybody ever tells you they close, 90 or 100% of the people they sit with, and I mean, I don't want to say they're lying to you, but I have a hard time believing. Okay. But if you're not closing at least 50% of the people you're sitting with, get with somebody and run through what you're saying and how you're saying it in the home and the structure that you're having in the home. And that can get corrected and fixed. And again, be clear, you guys are all, it's this the new agent call. So, your skill set inside the home, just like on the phone, it's not going to be as good now as it will be 3 months from now. Okay. So you will ultimately close more. But that's how you handle it. I mean, the people did send in a form, whether it was online, whether it was in the mail. So we know they want life insurance. And so it's like, if they are telling you no, it's something you're doing. And it's something, the way you're saying something, the order you're saying it, I don't know, it could be a lot of things, but if you're getting a lot of no's inside the house, let's look at it. Let's work on it. Let's do some role play, with your manager, things like that, and get it corrected. How should I go about, what important things should I do to transition from a part-time, starting part-time to full-time? Biggest thing with that is, if you're part-time and looking to go full-time, you need to treat it like you've got 2 full-time jobs right away. Okay. And what I always tell people, and everybody's schedule is different. Okay. So like, if somebody's their other job schedule is, say 8 to 5 on Monday through Friday, my suggestion would be, okay, Saturday is a dial day and you run all day Sunday, right? We need to get 1 full day of a full run schedule. Okay. That works much better than trying to piece it together and run an appointment on Tuesday night, 2 appointments on Wednesday night after work. That deal doesn't work. So I always tell a new agent trying to go full time, like, I need 2 days, right? I need 2 days. 1 day is a dial day and 1 day is a full run day. And you do need to spend, it's very important that you spend, when you're not working your full-time job, that you spend time getting on, going to the YouTube page, the Gulf Coast YouTube page, and listening to all the recordings, going back through, like, doing the training, gaining the knowledge. You need to be spending that time, like I said, we got to think of it like we got 2 full-time jobs. So you have to do those things. And here's another thing too. You have to be consistent with it, for a month or 2. Obviously, it's all going to be dependent on how much income we have to replace that you're making at your other job. But you have to be consistent. It's not going to work out for you. It's going to take forever if you dial and run. If you run 1 day a week. And then the next week, it's like, oh, I'm really not feeling it. I had a long week at work, so I'm just not going to do the insurance thing this week. I'll get back at it next week. So now you're only running 2 days a month as opposed to 4 days a month. It's got to be consistent for a short period of time, a month, 2 months, something like that, where we can build up enough cash flow to get you started off right and replace that other income. And I will say this too, you gotta have full commitment to it. It can't just be, I want to go full time, but yet you're treating this thing like a hobby, and it doesn't work that way. You got to treat it, like I say, 2 full-time jobs, but it's also super important that when you do have those days off, which are for dialing or for running appointments, those are full days. Okay. Like, it's not going to work if you're only running 3 appointments on your run day. No, we got to have 8, and we got to be door knocking during those 8, doing all that sort of stuff. We have to create the activity, and we got to have those 2 days for a short amount of time. The next one is top tips. What are some of the top tips for in-home that you can give? The 2 that I always look, I know as a new agent, and I was the same way, we think about, we need to know product, and we need to know this, we need to know that. Okay. Here's the 2 biggest tips I can give you for in-home. Number 1, be assumptive. They filled out a form. They want insurance. Okay. Whether it was online, whether it was in the mail, they want insurance. Assume the sale. From the time you knock on the door, you need to go into that house assuming, preparing, planning on writing an application and leaving the house. Okay. Not hoping to write an application. That's a big difference. So assume, use assumptive language while you're inside the home. Here's what we're going to do today. Things like that. Even, and it's hard, I get it as a new agent, but it's like, you've got to tell yourself, I'm writing a policy on this family before I leave the house because I know they need it. Why else would they invite a stranger into their house on a Tuesday night if they didn't need it? So that's the first thing, be assumptive. Second thing, it seems real simple, but sometimes we forget to do it, especially as new agents, because we're so consumed with all these other things and trying to learn the business and how we're going to go about it and everything like that. But it's really simple to do this next thing. Have a good positive energy and smile. Smiling will help you make more sales inside the home than a lot of things, and just having that good positive energy, like, and also energy, urgent energy, like, I got to go, I'm busy, like that type of energy, not good positive energy where we become their friend and we sit there for 3 hours, but just a good positive vibe. Like, leave all the crap that's going on in your life, anything else, that's weighing you down, leave that outside in the driveway when you get out of the car. And for that 30 or 45 minutes you're with the family, it's just good positive energy that people want to be around, and smile and have a good time with them, get to know them. Those 2 things, be assumptive and a good positive energy and smiling, that will help you inside the home, along with other things. I got it. There's other things, but those are the 2 biggest pieces of advice that I would give. The next question is how to handle all the phone objections that you get. All right. So they can only say so many things to you on the phone. The typical ones that you might get are, can't you just mail it to me? How much is it? I'm not interested. I already got it taken care of. Nobody, I don't want anybody coming to my house, or like a COVID type of thing, objection, and then a scheduling objection. That's it. You're not going to get a whole lot else. Okay. So typically, And I'm just going to go over what I say, or what, what I would say if they said these things to me. and and the biggest thing as a new agent that you need to know is a lot of times new agents overcome the objection. They say the right thing, but then they stop and they pause and they don't go right back to booking the appointment. That's the big key. Like, roll through the objection and boom, right back to book the appointment. So if they say, can't you just mail it to me? Yeah, I wish I could, but actually you can get this stuff without a medical exam. So somebody's got to at least lay eyes on you and make sure, you're not like as big as an elephant and dragging an oxygen tank behind you, or tied to a hospital bed or something like that. Does that make sense? And they'll always say yes. And I'll say, okay, so would tomorrow morning or afternoon work best to swing by and catch up with you real quick? All right. A lot of times these people fill these forms out because they see on there that a medical exam is not required. So when they say mail it to me, I'm going to take them right back to, I wish I could, but somebody's got to lay eyes on you, make sure you ain't tied to a hospital bed and as big as a house and dragging an oxygen tank and all that stuff. Does that make sense? I'm going to kind of chuckle as I say that. They'll laugh, they'll say yes, boom, I'm going to go right back into booking morning or afternoon. Okay. How much is it? How much is it going to be? I don't know. I mean, we have plans that range anywhere from like $5 a month all the way up to like $500 or $600 a month. You're the one that ultimately picks that. I just got to get the information to you. Whatever you do with it, it doesn't matter to me. You can throw it away, but would morning or afternoon work best tomorrow? See, I'm not getting into how much it's going to cost them. They're the ones that ultimately decide that. It's just my job to get the information to them. We have plans that go from $5 a month up to $500 or $600, whatever. You pick that. So when are you going to be around tomorrow, morning or afternoon? Okay. I'm not interested. Okay, great. That means it'll be real quick. So I just got to get this to you so we can get you off the list. When will you be around tomorrow, morning or afternoon? I don't care what you do with it. You can throw it away. It doesn't matter to me. I just need to run by and get it to you so I don't lose my job. Okay. Boom, right back into booking the appointment. I've already gotten it taken care of. Okay, great. That must be why they got me giving you a call, because we've actually been saving a lot of people money on some of the new plans lately. So when will you be around tomorrow, morning or afternoon? I'll run it by, get it to you. If it saves you money, great. If it doesn't, no big deal. Just throw it away. But when will you be around tomorrow, morning or afternoon? I said I've already gotten it taken care of. I know. I don't want to lose my job. So I've got to get this to you and get you off the list. Let everybody know that you got it taken care of. So when will you be around tomorrow, morning or afternoon? I don't want anybody coming to the house, or in the times we live in now, if they do give you the whole COVID thing or whatever, for the most part, people are kind of past that and beyond that. But if they do say, I don't want anybody coming to the house. Oh, okay. Yeah, we see that more and more in the times that we're living in now. So no big deal. I just got to lay eyes on you and make sure you are who you say you are. And we can take care of everything. So what I'm going to do, I'll be pulling up in a gray SUV tomorrow. Okay. I'm going to knock on your door. You can show me your identification, your driver's license through the door or through the window. Then I'm going to go back to the car and I'll call you. We'll get it all taken care of. So would morning or afternoon work best tomorrow? Okay. So I'm just going to, or you can go the direction of, okay, yeah, no big deal. Like most of the time now, I actually just sit outside with people, on the front porch or something like that. And I actually have two lawn chairs in the trunk of my car. So when are you going to be around tomorrow, morning or afternoon? I'll bring the lawn chairs out. We'll sit 10 feet apart and take 5 or 10 minutes. So what would work best, morning or afternoon? Okay. And then the last thing is scheduling. If they give you scheduling objection, all right. The biggest thing I would say is ask questions. So I'll never forget a lady telling me, I was booking an appointment with her for a Wednesday. She said, "Oh no, honey, Wednesday won't work good. That's my day to go to Walmart every week." Like in her mind, it was like she couldn't schedule anything else on a Wednesday, because she was going to Walmart. So she said, no, that's not going to work good. It's my Walmart day. I said, okay, so what time are you going to go to Walmart? She said, I usually get there about 10 o'clock in the morning. I said, okay, got it. So you'll definitely be home. I'm going to be right down the street from you between like 1 and 1:30. You ain't going to be at Walmart more than for 3 hours, are you? She said, no, I'll definitely be home then. Boom, book the appointment, right? So if they give scheduling objections, ask questions. Don't just take it at face value what they say. They might say, I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so tomorrow's no good. Okay, cool. Is your appointment in the morning or is it in the afternoon? Oh, it's in the afternoon. Okay. Is it here in town? Yep. Okay. So your appointment's at 1. So actually, I'm going to be you'll still be at the house between like 9 and 9:30, right? Because you don't have to leave until probably noon or 12:30, right? Yep. Boom. Now I can book the appointment. So look, you are going to get some scheduling objections with people saying, oh, that day is no good, I'm out of town. If they say that, just say, okay, cool. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a note on your file and I'll give you a call back, next week. You'll be back by next week. Is that right? They'll say yes. And I'll say, okay, I'll give you a call next week sometime, whatever day they have me scheduled to be in your area. That's all you can do. Obviously you can set up a virtual appointment if you have to. For somebody that's going to be out of town, maybe you do it over FaceTime or you do it over Zoom or whatever. But I would just caution you to ask questions. I do that too, just because I get a feel whether or not they're telling me the truth. It's like, so if they say, I'm going to be out of town. Okay, cool. Where are you headed to? And then they tell me, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to be having a conversation with them, but trying to gain as much information as I can, and trying to work around the scheduling. But I definitely would say if you get a scheduling objection and they say, oh, tomorrow's no good, but next week, Tuesday is good. Okay, John, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pencil you in my schedule next Tuesday. I'm going to call you on Monday to make sure nothing's changed in my schedule. I'll let you know on Monday if we're confirmed or not. Does that sound like a plan? I'm not going to book something, more than 2 days out and expect those people to be there. That type of deal, try and stay away from. So hope that helps on the scheduling, on the phone objections. The last thing is how I'm struggling with mortgage protection appointments, but like older people on mortgage protection leads. They're either sick or they're old, and they've got mortgages of 150, 200,000. So how do I build value to a smaller amount of insurance? With this is obviously the direction we go. Is we're looking to protect a certain number of years worth of mortgage payments. So if their mortgage payments are $1,000 a month, obviously $12,000 worth of coverage would pay a full year worth of the mortgage. So the idea is to make sure that their beneficiary has a year and a half, 2 years worth of time where they can breathe and they can grieve and they can put the place on the market if they do need to sell it and get the full value out of it instead of having to fire sell it. Okay. And they fire sell it and somebody comes in and, if they have to take the first offer that comes their way, well, now that might cost them, 30, 40, 50 grand of the equity that's been built up in the house. Okay. So this allows them to sit back and get the full value out of the house because they know the mortgage is paid for X amount of time. But how you build value to that, I think it's important that, like, when you have somebody that's a little bit older and they have a mortgage like that, it's like I'm going to be saying things throughout. It's about the structure of the appointment early on. We've got to set it up, okay? So when I go to business, I'm going to say, so I'm assuming you're like everybody else that fills these things out and sends them back to us. You want to make sure all the mortgage is paid off, or at least as much of the mortgage that can get paid off in the event of a death, right? And they're going to say yes. Okay, so now I've already planted that seed that we might not be getting the whole mortgage covered. Okay, I've already planted that seed in their head. So now they say yes. I say, okay, so paint me a picture, John. You die tomorrow. What's happening to this house? Because here's what I see a lot of times. I see, when one spouse dies, the other spouse actually ends up moving because there's too many memories in this house, or the house is too big for one person, or they don't want to do all the yard work that's associated here, or they want to move closer to kids or grandkids or something like that. Or, is it going to be that situation for you guys? Like, what's the deal? What's it look like? I'm trying to paint that picture but guys, this is the reality. Most of the time when a spouse dies, the remaining person doesn't end up staying in the home. They don't, for one of those reasons that I mentioned earlier. They do end up moving. They can want to stay there all they want, and if they can, great. Okay, but most of the time, because they are losing a full income of somebody, so most of the time, it's really just going to be about buying them time and giving them options, making decisions they want to make instead of decisions they're forced into making, by the lender. So I'm going to try and talk to them in that way. I'm going to set it up that way. I'm going to use words like most people in your situation, they end up going with this type of plan because it really accomplishes all you need it to accomplish, but also it's the most cost-effective thing to do. And that's always a good thing, right? And they get excited, when you're talking about being the most cost-effective thing. And so now we're just writing them a smaller whole life policy that covers the mortgage payments. And we know that the underwriting is much more lenient on whole life. So now if they've had health issues or whatever, they can't qualify for a term. So I'm already walking them down that path to make sure that they are not in their head thinking, at age 75 and had a heart attack, 3 years ago, that they're going to be able to get $250,000 worth of coverage. So you say, well, what do you say if they say, well, I want, if they're 75, they had a heart attack 3 years ago, they got a $250,000 mortgage. What do you say, Brent, if they say, well, I want the whole thing or nothing at all? All right, John. So I told you at the start of this, we were going to be honest with each other, right? We agreed on that. Yep. Okay. So I want a freaking fleet of Ferraris as well. Okay. We can sit here and talk about you getting $250,000 worth of coverage. We can talk about that until the cows come home. The reality of it is it's not going to happen. So we got two choices. Either you go until the day you die, hoping you can get $250,000 worth of coverage, which is never going to happen. So you end up dying with nothing else in place. Or we get as much in place as we can that's comfortable to you on a monthly basis. And that check goes to Miss Mary when you die. What puts her in a better position to maintain lifestyle and to move forward with you after losing your income? Which one of those is better for her? So I'm going to talk to him that way. If they keep on and on about, well, I got to have this or nothing at all. Again, I've got 8 other appointments booked today. So it's like, I'm not going to just keep going on and on, John. This is, I'm being upfront and being honest with you. It's not your days of getting $250,000 worth of coverage. They're over. So we can either talk about setting Miss Mary up to the best of our ability. And I got it. You probably are sitting there thinking, man, I wish I'd gotten this coverage 20 years ago, right, in place. So she would have been set, but you didn't. And now where we're at now. So it's most important that we assess where we're at now and we move forward. You can't go backwards. Okay, let's take where we're at now and move forward to the best of our ability, set her up as best as we can, because the $250,000 isn't going to happen. And so I'm going to be upfront with it. Okay, but I'm not going to try and get to that point. I'm going to try and guide them to the the building the value to the smaller amounts where they see it and they're like, their eyes, the light bulb comes on and they're like, oh my God. They don't even think about the fact that they're not getting the whole mortgage covered, because they realize that it's a much better and much more cost-effective way of handling it. And it accomplishes the same goal just by getting a year or 2 years worth of the mortgage payments covered. So those can be the most difficult types of appointments when you're brand new. At least it was for me. But once you grab hold of how to handle it, how to structure the appointment, how to guide them, how to lead them, how to be assumptive in your language with them, they're actually, in my opinion, they're actually the easiest sales that you can possibly have. So guys, I hope this helps. Again, please continue to send your questions on any of the emails that come out from the Gulf Coast office. Click the link, submit your questions. We'll do our best to get to them as quickly as we can. So you guys have a good rest of the day. Let us know how we can help, and we'll talk to you guys soon.